Lately, everyone has been freaking out and overusing the term plot hole. And by overusing, I mean using it incorrectly. This has been mostly due to the new Star Wars film, but I won't bang on about that for too long. Or will I? The internet is full of excitement, or should I say excrement, and has of late been throwing around the term. Everyone on Reddit is banging on about Star Wars plot holes. YouTube, known for the most insightful and intelligent comments around, has been banging on about plot holes, both in videos and in the comment section. In fact, one commentator, someone made a comment on one of my Star Wars videos, listed a myriad array of so-called plot holes in The Last Jedi, none of which were actually plot holes, as I pointed out in this detailed response. And thus I have been inspired to make a video with the intent to define what a plot hole actually is, with some fun examples to boot. Hopefully we can end this misuse of the terminology once and for all. Yeah, right, cunt. A plot hole, or plot error, is a gap or inconsistency in a storyline that goes against the flow of logic established by the story's plot. Thanks, Oxford English Dictionary. The key part of this definition is that the plot has to have already been established by the story previously, then contradicted later before it becomes a so-called plot hole. So if the story never said specifically, you can't do this, then you do it, it's not a plot hole, mate. Same thing goes for when people say, why didn't they just do this in the first place? What a plot hole. A character flaw is not a plot hole either. Characters make mistakes and characters can be idiots too. Just because a character does something you don't like or does something stupid that leads to a problem that could have easily been avoided if they did it your way, doesn't mean it's a plot hole. It's just a stupid person doing something stupid, or they simply messed up, or they had an ulterior motive that was not revealed to you, the viewer. For example, bro, like why did they just take the birds to Mordor in the first place? What a plot hole. That's my American accent, it's pretty bloody good. Arguably one of the most debated and referenced plot holes in the whole plot hole debate. Now I'm not going to go into details to whether or not Gandalf always meant to take the birds but for very specific reasons never made it or not. This debate has been done to death. I am simply going to say why this is not necessarily a plot hole. As far as I know, it was never established that anyone at any time can summon a giant bird and then command them to take the most dangerous object in the universe to the most dangerous place in the universe while somehow avoiding flying fucking ring wraiths on the back of the fell beast, never getting tired and thus never needing to rest in enemy territory, and so on. It was never stated that any old chap can just get a magical flying great eagle whenever he wants. The birds picked up Frodo after, and I stress this, after the One Ring was destroyed and the Orc army and the baddies were all mostly defeated. Who says it was safe to fly over Mordor before then? Who says the Great Eagles would or could even do that? Why risk their feathers? Who says you can just contact them whenever you want? No one did. This was never established and thus not a plot hole. Also, maybe they were on the way to contact them. Maybe they couldn't use them as the fell beasts would smash them. Who knows? Just saying, if I was a Great Eagle and you asked me to fly the most dangerous thing in the world over the most dangerous place in the world, I'd probably just say, the point is, it was never established that the Great Eagles could do this, and thus not a plot hole. Also, even if they could, and for some reason Gandalf decided not to use them, it's still not a plot hole. It's Gandalf's hole. A character fucking up is not a plot hole, dude. For example, why didn't Gaylord Fucker just say he lost the cat instead of buying a similar looking one and spray painting its tail? Shit! Meet the Parents is full of plot holes, man. No, it's not. It's an idiot making idiotic mistakes. This is his character. His character not doing something that he should is not a plot hole. It's a character flaw. And guess what? We all have flaws, man. Even you. So to finish off this little rant, I've picked 3 of the many so-called plot holes mentioned by this commenter on my Star Wars videos. These so-called plot holes have come up over and over again on other forums and shit, so let's look at why they are not actually plot holes. And maybe you can try to convince me as to why they are plot holes. Why didn't Holdo just tell everyone the grand plan at the beginning? A character not doing something you want them to do is not a plot hole. I don't know why Holdo didn't tell everyone the plan. Maybe she didn't know who to trust. Maybe she just made a mistake. It's not a plot hole unless it was previously established in Star Wars that everyone knows all the plans all the time and the commanding officers always have to tell everyone everything and blah blah. You see my point. Holdo perhaps making a mistake is not a plot hole. It's her character doing something questionable. See, a character doing something you don't like doesn't mean it's a plot hole. It might be dumb. It probably was dumb, but it hasn't contradicted anything, thus not a plot hole. If Force Ghosts can now use their powers in the real world, why hasn't this happened before? I don't know. So what? It's never stated that they can't use their powers. Simple as that. Just because we haven't seen it before doesn't make it a plot hole. In fact, this is the opposite of a plot hole because we haven't seen it. As in, there are no laws previously stated about this. It hasn't contradicted anything because nothing prior to it exists. You have to break an established law in order for it to be a plot hole. Using hyperspace as a weapon is ridiculous. If that is now a feature in the Star Wars universe, then why hasn't this been done before? Why didn't they just send an empty ship into hyperspace much earlier rather than letting the Imperial fleet destroy loads of ships in the meantime? Oh, we know the answer, don't we? It's just lazy and poor writing. This is probably the biggest issue that people seem to have, I guess, except for all the women. Ugh. And yeah, it's pretty out there for sure. I don't really like that they did this in Star Wars, but again, it's not a plot hole. Just because we haven't seen it before doesn't make it a plot hole. It might be stupid, but it doesn't contradict anything. It might be lazy writing, but again, it's never stated that a big fucking super fancy ship can't do this. It's probably just not economical to do this all the time. Maybe it's a last resort thing. I don't know. Sorry kids, it's not a plot hole. I don't like it, but it's not a plot hole. So Jake, you ask, is anything a plot hole? Yeah, there are shitloads of plot holes, including lots of Star Wars stuff. Here's some of the ones I thought were amusing. Terminator 2, the T-1000 is naked. Why? Terminators have to travel naked because only living organisms can travel through time, or apparently machines covered with living tissue. But the T-1000 is totally made up of metal with no living tissue at all. So, maybe they perfected time travel since the original film. If so, why is the T-1000 naked when he arrives? Just rock up in your normal liquid metal clothes or something. X-Men The Last Stand. Wolverine travels back in time, and Hank McCoy has created a mutant suppression serum. But in The Last Stand, which is set in 2006, Hank is all amazed that a mutant cure is discovered, despite having invented it years earlier. I don't know. All time travel shit is filled with plot holes. Just call it a temporal anomaly and move on. Watch my time travel video to see what I mean. Here's another X-Men one that I love. Wolverine's indestructible pants. Jean is literally tearing flesh from his body, but his pants remain intact. They should have just let him hang dong. Back to the Future. Why don't the McFlyers remember Calvin Klein? You know, Marty when he goes back in time. He brought them together, inspired George's sci-fi novelist career. He looks exactly like their son, man. Maybe they forgot somehow, or as some people say, maybe they knew all along and Doc had something to do with keeping them quiet. Anyway, it's still a plot hole, huh? The Matrix. Everyone who jacks in needs an operator to do so, or at least to bring them back out, to find them an exit. How does Cypher do it all by himself? Apparently we see him set up an automated system, but I don't know, man, sounds dodgy to me. Jurassic Park. How did the T-Rex climb up this giant wall that's over 100 feet tall? We see later the car getting pushed over the exact spot the T-Rex climbs up, landing in a tree 100 feet from the ground. Who knows, man? Levitating T-Rex perhaps? Awesome. Armageddon. It's easier to train drillers to be astronauts than astronauts to be drillers, apparently. Not sure if this is a plot hole per se, but it's fucking dumb. Okay, here's some actual Star Wars plot holes. Obi-Wan was trained by Qui-Gon Jinn, but in Empire he says it was Yoda. Huh? In the prequels, Yoda says there can only ever be two Sith, the rule of two, master and apprentice, but in the original trilogy they try to turn Luke into a Sith, thus making three Sith. Huh? In Attack of the Clones we learn that Padme is Force sensitive, right guys? No, she's not. Then how does she know Anakin was in the hangar when his ship got shot down previously? She couldn't possibly know that Dooku would end up in the hangar and thus Anakin happened to catch him there. Huh? Return of the Jedi. Leia says she remembers her mother calling her beautiful, kind, and sad. But Padme died in childbirth. Huh? Maybe a Force thing? I don't know. Huh? Many times in the original trilogy, Vader can communicate with Luke telepathically. Leia can communicate with Luke, but Vader can't communicate with Leia? He seemingly has no idea who she is, even when torturing her. What the flip? Obi-Wan doesn't recognize R2-D2, even though, you know, the prequels. In Empire, Hoth is surrounded by an Imperial blockade which prevents any rebel ships from leaving, so they say. But Luke gets past it, no worries. What the flip and fly? But Luke throws a skull to push the button that kills the Rancor. Why not use the Force? Look, not really a plot hole, but it's still very dumb. This happens a lot, like when they are in the Ewok net. Luke asks Han if he can reach his saber, but in Empire, he got his saber all by himself. Use more Force, Luke, come on. But everyone's apparently upset Rey and Kylo didn't use the Force to fight the guards, but you know, no one ever uses the Force when they're supposed to. Get over it. So obviously the Empire gave the rebels the Death Star plans to lure them out, to trick them to set the infamous trap. Why not give them fake plans and save yourself another destroyed space station, huh? In The Force Awakens, Rey understands Shiri-Wook, you know, the Wookiee language, and BB-8's droid language, despite growing up in a shitty desert and despite never leaving Jakku since she arrived there, huh? Again, not really a plot hole, it's just weird that she can speak all these languages even though she came from a highly uneducated background. What? In A New Hope, the Death Star never scans the Falcon for life signs, even though we know they can do this. Luke, Han, and Obi-Wan are on the ship in hiding. Huh? This is a good one. Leia Leia was at the battle in the end of Rogue One and her ship is seen leaving. Moments later in the scenes in A New Hope, she tells Vader that she's on a diplomatic mission. He just saw her leave the fucking battle in this exact ship about 20 minutes ago. What is she even thinking, huh? Like, seriously, watch Rogue One and A New Hope back to back. It's fucking weird. She's like, yeah, we did it. We escaped. Good job. Around high fives all around. Then Darth Vader's like, ha, gotcha. And she's like, we're on a diplomatic mission. He's like, I just saw you, shot at you, left the... We're on a diplomatic mission! It's fucking weird, dude. Such a big continuity issue. I can go on and on and on about retcons and all kind of character flaws. Light speed, stuff-ups, and fucking parsecs and shit. The point is, actual plot holes exist all the time. And look, you can retcon almost anything later on and explain it however you want. You can justify all the holes and make up for it, whatever. You can make a sequel or a prequel and then try to explain plot holes, sure, why not? But at the time, they were gaping, festering holes. Oh well, the problem people have with The Last Jedi are actually not really plot holes. They just don't like The Last Jedi, and that's fine, you don't have to like it, but don't call it a plot hole. And look, it doesn't even matter. Plot holes that truly exist are super annoying, but we often tend to look over them. I mean, we have with Star Wars for fucking years. People seem to have totally looked over all the Star Wars so-called plot holes in the past, like actual plot holes, not just shitty things you don't like. So why is everyone so upset now? I personally don't know. But hey, like what you like, hate what you hate. Whatever, who cares? Just don't call everything you don't like a plot hole, because 9 times out of 10, I bet it probably isn't a plot hole at all. What's your favorite science fiction plot hole? Leave a comment if you care to. Yeah, and thanks for watching.